The morning whispers of the market never fail to surprise. Traders woke up today to see KASPA quietly holding ground at just above 8 cents, as if the coin had no intention of surrendering to the restless winds of volatility. For a project often described as an ambitious reimagining of blockchain speed and scalability, that subtle resilience feels like a chapter in a larger story. And make no mistake, KASPA has become a story worth telling. One where numbers on a screen are only the visible tips of deeper waves moving beneath. When we talk about price predictions, especially in crypto, we are often stepping into a theater of probability. The actors are many: the global economy, investor psychology, regulatory shifts, and of course the technology itself. Each plays its role, sometimes as heroes, sometimes as villains. The script changes daily, and the audience, which includes you and me, keeps guessing about the next act. KASPA is no exception. Today, the spotlight rests on its modest value, just over 8 cents. On the surface, it may seem quiet, yet behind the curtain, whispers of analysts, traders, and long-term believers paint a picture that stretches beyond today's digits. Short-term chatter expects small climbs, minor corrections, the kind of market dance where the music alternates between optimism and caution. Mid-term forecasts spread wider, some imagining KASPA struggling to maintain its pace, others dreaming of a breakout that could lift it well above its current base. The long term, however, is where imagination takes off, with visions of KASPA rising into levels that today would feel like science fiction. What fuels such optimism? Part of it comes from KASPA's technological foundation. It is not merely another blockchain in a crowded field, but one that seeks to perfect blockDAG architecture. Instead of waiting in line like cars at a toll booth, transactions in KASPA can speed across multiple lanes, processed simultaneously. That promise of efficiency and speed excites developers, miners, and investors alike. In an age where time equals value, shaving off seconds from confirmation rates is no small feat. Yet technology alone does not move markets. Sentiment is the invisible hand on the wheel. Think of the market as a crowded cafe where everyone is watching everyone else's order. If a few tables start buying espresso, suddenly everyone wants caffeine. In KASPA's case, the espresso is the belief that this coin could quietly become the backbone of faster, fairer decentralized systems. The moment enough people order the same cup, demand surges, and the price responds. But prediction is never a straight road. Alongside optimism, caution waits in the corner, sipping tea. The same volatility that once made Bitcoin a roller coaster rides through KASPA as well. Some voices warn of corrections, dips, and the ever-present risk that the project may not deliver its grand promises fast enough to satisfy the impatient appetites of traders. Skepticism is healthy in this environment, because without it, enthusiasm tends to overheat and burn those who jump in without a plan. When looking at the immediate horizon, many expect KASPA's price to hover around its current level, nudging slightly upward on good days, falling back during bouts of market anxiety. This stability may not sound exciting, but in crypto, calm waters often precede bigger waves. Traders who chase intraday thrills may find KASPA too patient, while long-term believers may quietly accumulate, waiting for the tide to turn in their favor. Zooming out into the coming year, the predictions scatter like birds in different directions. Some analysts imagine KASPA holding around its current range, perhaps nudging into the low double digits if momentum builds. Others sketch far more daring scenarios, where KASPA doubles or even triples, especially if its adoption story accelerates. The truth, as always, probably lies somewhere in between. Markets rarely deliver the extremes we most fear or most hope for, instead carving paths of compromise shaped by supply, demand, and a healthy dose of chaos. Looking further into the future, the conversation becomes almost poetic. There are forecasts suggesting KASPA could one day cross into the realm of $50, $1, or more, should its growth continue steadily. These numbers are not guarantees, of course, but they reflect the kind of faith the community has placed in the project. Faith alone cannot build value, but when paired with development, partnerships, and consistent innovation, it can move mountains. History has shown us that. After all, there was a time when Bitcoin at $10 seemed like a fantasy, when Ethereum at 100 felt unreachable. Today, those early dreamers look back with quiet satisfaction. Still, it is crucial to recognize the risks. KASPA operates in a volatile environment where regulatory frameworks remain uncertain. A single policy change in the United States, Europe, or Asia could shift sentiment overnight. Market liquidity is another factor. While KASPA has grown significantly, it remains a smaller player compared to the giants of the industry. This means it can be more easily swayed by sudden buying or selling pressure, amplifying swings that would barely move the needle in larger assets. And then there is the human element. Crypto is as much about psychology as it is about math. FOMO, fear of missing out, drives investors to jump in late, often at the peak. Panic does the opposite, pushing people to sell at the bottom. KASPA will not be immune to these cycles, and those who enter without discipline risk becoming casualties of their own emotions. For every success story in this market, there is another tale of someone who lost patience, misread the signs, or simply followed the wrong crowd. Yet perhaps that is exactly why KASPA continues to intrigue. It is not merely the price prediction charts or the colorful graphs. If one were to write tomorrow's headline, it might read something like, KASPA holds firm amid market noise. Analysts debate future heights. And indeed, that would capture the essence. For now, the coin sits quietly at just above 8 cents, steady but not stagnant. A reminder that in crypto, stillness is often the calm before something larger. The question is not whether KASPA will move, but how, when, and in what direction. As the months unfold, investors will continue to watch the indicators, compare predictions, and argue over charts. Some will celebrate modest gains. Others will endure frustrating dips. A few may even cash out too soon, only to look back later with regret. But that is the nature of the game. What matters most is not the exact prediction, but the ability to interpret the signals, manage the risks, and maintain a clear vision amid the noise. So here we are, standing at the crossroads of possibility. KASPA may climb, it may stumble, it may even surprise us in ways no forecast dared to suggest. But whatever happens, today's price is only one frame in a film that is still rolling. The reel has many more scenes to show, and perhaps, just perhaps, one of them will capture KASPA's rise into the kind of headline-grabbing success that transforms quiet believers into loud storytellers. And to those who follow this journey closely, remember, the story of KASPA is not just written by charts and predictions. It is written by you, the community, the developers, the traders, and the dreamers who keep the faith alive. Markets move, predictions fade, but stories endure. KASPA's story is far from over, and whether you read it with a serious face or a knowing smile, it promises to be one worth following. So here we are, at the end of this long journey, staring at KASPA's chart like it's a crystal ball, hoping it will whisper secrets about the future. Spoiler alert, the chart is as quiet as a teenager asked to do chores. It gives us candles, lines, and colors, but it refuses to say, hey buddy, tomorrow I'm going up. No, KASPA plays hard to get. But let's be honest, if KASPA could talk, it would probably say something like, relax, I'm still warming up. You want instant riches? Go buy a lottery ticket. You want technology with potential? Stick around. And then it would wink because KASPA knows how to tease. Today it sits just over 8 cents, looking humble, pretending to be shy. But deep down, it has the swagger of a coin that knows it might just show up to the party in a Lamborghini one day. Not tomorrow, not next week, but someday when nobody is expecting it. That's the KASPA style. Sneaky success, so here's the final takeaway. Don't marry your predictions, date them. Keep your expectations flexible. KASPA might surprise you with roses and champagne, or it might show up with cheap takeout and say, this is all I've got today. Either way, it's still part of your life and you'll have something to laugh about later. At the end of the day, KASPA is like that underdog in a sports movie. Nobody expects them to win, but they train in the dark, waiting for their big moment. And when that moment comes, everyone will stand up, clap, and say, "Wow, I didn't see that coming." So hold on, keep your humor intact, and remember, KASPA's story is still being written. Whether it ends up on the moon, Mars, or just in your digital wallet gathering dust, at least it gave us a ride full of suspense and laughter. And if nothing else, you can always say, "Yeah, I was there when KASPA was just 8 cents. I lived through the drama." Until then, keep calm, sip your coffee, check your charts, and maybe crack a smile.